Welcome back to the Fish Tank right here on the Miami Dolphins Podcast Network. Seth Levitt, DJ Preach is in the back, and my main man, OJ McDuffie. Juice, looking sharp today, man. I like the new shirt.
Hey, man, you know how I do it, Big Seth. You know, I got so much Dolphin gear, man. I just got to make sure every episode I got to come something a little different.
Yeah, I've got like a rotation of three things.
I noticed that. I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, I noticed that.
I mean, it is what it is. I got a lot of kids, you know. I got to go with what I've got. But speaking of looking sharp, and last time I was seeing double, but this time it's just one Pouncey. Mike Pouncey diving into the tank for the second time. How you feeling, man?
Awesome, man. Life's been good. I'm excited to be back with you guys. Obviously, OJ, I know you've been well. Been following you, but my brother, same way. I wish he could have been here today, but he had some other stuff going on. But excited to be back.
I didn't know that you guys did things separately.
Yeah,
retirement.
Yeah, that's post career. Post career. Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe after that last game that we just played, you know, maybe they decided.
Yeah, he ain't came out the house. That's probably what it is. He ain't left out the house yet. Yeah.
Was he at the game?
Yeah, we tailgate. We actually didn't go inside. Our kids went in with our dad and a couple of family members, but we sat outside the whole time, tailgated. Yeah, we had the TV, we had the whole setup.
Funny.
Yeah, we was there.
Too funny. That's good. Well, I know only one of you went home happy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was. I'm glad it was the guy that's sitting here with us today.
Of course, the Dolphin.
No doubt.
So we talked about the last time you were in the tank. Man, that was 4 years ago.
It's crazy.
4 years ago in the tank, and I do remember this, Big Seth. We crammed the brothers on my pool table in my house back then, man.
Right.
It was tight
they
space
were sitting
right
on one
there.
side there, yeah.
You know
Whole
what I mean?
different setup now. Y'all got it going on.
A little more leg room.
Even though you had a big house, OJ. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I had.
Yeah.
I sold.
Oh, you sold it?
Yeah, man. The market was right. We lost your brother for this one.
Yeah. He'll be back.
We lost some of you too for this one. Like, talk to me, man. What's going on, man? I mean, if I didn't know you played offensive, center, and I would think you played tight end, and maybe even wide receiver.
Yeah,
man.
the way they're
what I mean, the way you're looking right now, man. Talk to me. What's going on here?
So we went on this journey just post career to lose a bunch of weight, and once it kind of started falling off, it kind of got easier. After that, it was just once we got to the bottom, it was like, man, this was the hardest part, was staying here. It was like, all right, can we completely change our diet for the rest of our lives? And that's been the tough part for us so far, is just maintaining the weight that we're at now. But the part of losing it was just the mental side of it. It's like, man, how bad did you really want to lose the weight? How bad do you want to get down and be kind of fit and better in better shape? And we started going to stores. This was the funny part, because when you're big, you go to stores, you're fighting for the 1-3X they got. You know what I'm saying? You're fighting for the one.
That's right, going together.
Yeah, you're going for the 142. Now I go get a large and extra large in any store. It's like now when I travel, I used to trip.
Off the rack.
Yeah, I used to trip out when I travel, because I'm like, man, I hope they don't lose my bag, man. They lose my bag, it's over. Like, what am I gonna wear?
Right. What you wore?
They lose it now, give me a reason to go buy some new stuff.
Yeah, and I think we talked about a little bit before we got on, man. It's like it's nice having your brother as a partner in that.
Yeah.
I'm the only child. I wouldn't have anybody that could, help me get through this battle, man. And you guys, honestly, you've always competed with and for each other, and that's another battle you guys are doing with each other.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's been a life partner for me. Every step of my life, he's been there with me, and when both of us decided to lose his weight, there was no way I could let him be skinny and me be big. Then I'd be the joke of every barbecue. I mean, you know what I mean?
Can't be the fat
let Mike pick dinner tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is there a competition there, or you guys?
At first it was.
What are your weights difference now? What is your difference now?
So we're both about 230 to 235. But when we first started, it was like every single day I'm like, "What'd you weigh in at?" He called me, "What'd you weigh in at?" It was like who dropped more at, And that was kind of like the competition thing that kept pushing us. I call him, "What you eating today?" I lied to him, be like, "Boy, I had a salad." Really, I ain't eat. I ain't really eat nothing. I wanted to be up on him. So tomorrow when he called to weigh in, I'm like, yeah, he a little bit heavy.
You tell him it was a cheat day? That's hilarious. So when you retired, how much were you weighing?
So when I retired, I probably retired at about 285, 287, somewhere in there. So we probably lost 50 to 60 pounds. Just
unbelievable.
Look, they were great, man.
Yeah.
They could ball up, man.
Yeah, we just went healthier and just cut out all the carbs, and we just lost all the weight. Because now, think about it, like you're forcing yourself 4 or 5 times a day to eat. Because you got to weigh in and like, how much you weigh on a Friday before the game, you got to make sure you're at that weight. I'm advising, like, if you're a little guy and you want to still eat the same, keep the same routine, keep running. And if you're a big guy and you want to lose, you got to cut out all that. They're dead.
Well, congratulations to both you guys, man. You're killing it. So again, in preparing for this, I was like, I have not talked to Mike since you announced your retirement back in it was February of 2021. I mean, we really haven't spoken in a long time. And so, honestly, when you when that announcement came out, I was a little shocked. But I also didn't realize you had played 10 years.
Yeah, it flew by.
I didn't realize you had played as long as you had. I think it's fascinating that you guys made the decision together. I'm not surprised because I know how you roll, but just walk us through what was the mindset of a guy to decide we're done.
So the mental aspect for me, I kind of had to go through it my last year because I knew the beginning of the season during training camp I had the hip replacement surgery. So I already knew that whole year it was no way possible coming back just because there's never been a guy ever play with a hip replacement in the NFL. I had to accept that my last year, like, dang, football's over for me. The hardest part was like for my brother was accepting that he was still able to play.
Yeah.
He was like, dang, I got a whole nother year on my contract. He had to accept that part, and I was like, bro, what you gonna do? But I seen it with him. Like once you lose that fire,
Yeah.
especially as a great player, like he's gonna be a Hall of Famer one day.
Right.
I seen he had that fire, and I said, bro, don't go back. Can't. Your name means more.
It's a hard
than
game to play.
1 year, you know what I'm saying? Like your last name means more than just 1 year. I get emotional thinking about it because I felt like it was my fault he didn't get to finish out his career the way he was supposed to, you know. But
So you've been carrying that burden.
not really carrying the burden because we both understood. It was just more like we wanted to finish out together on top.
Right.
And I was like, bro, you're gonna go back, and we both not gonna be out there. And he called it quits. So.
Wow.
You just got traded pretty much to the Chargers. And to be honest, man, emotions were running real high.
Yeah.
But now the time has passed.
Yeah.
You know, how are you feeling about that now? Have you cooled off a little bit about it? 'Cause I know I see you around a lot more often. I see you being a part of the organization a little bit more now. So to talk about that time and now how you feel now about it.
Honestly, I'm thankful that it happened because it gave me a different aspect of the NFL. Let me go and see how different organizations were ran, and it was a fun experience for me. Even though I wanted to always retire a Dolphin, I never ever thought I was going to leave here. But Philbin, Adam Gase, and then Bowles, and Dan Campbell, so much turnover that you was like, man, how can you sit here and be mad at the organization for them trying to figure out what's best for them? And that's when I started to look at it. When I got past all of it, I looked at it like that. I was like, dang, man, thank God I didn't just lose it like I usually do when I was in my younger days.
At least not public.
Yeah, not public.
Again,
Because now, because we still have the relationship. We have our liqueur company now. Now we're going to be in the Hard Rock and all this other stuff.
that's
now,
awesome.
Now, post 4 years ago, if I'd have lost my mind and all this other stuff, who knows if those relationships still there? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just glad, thankfully, that it worked out the way it did.
When we did that interview 4 years ago, it was probably a week before Coach Sperano passed.
Yeah.
And we all know, it was sudden and it was tragic and certainly unexpected. And then we posted the interview 2 days afterwards. And Juice and I debated, like, how do we handle this? But you had spoken so glowingly about him and how important he was to you and your journey. Talk about what he meant to you as a player, as a person, and as a professional.
So I think with Coach Sperano, that anybody that's ever met him personally never said anything bad about him. Mm-hmm. I remember, like, I think we talked about it on the thing. I remember when he got fired, how many guys showed up to his house that night.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a respect thing. It was bigger than football. Like, he loved you as a man, as a football player. You knew every single day you was going to get his best, and he was going to push you in a way that got your best. Now, you might not like it all the time. I remember I had these blisters on my feet, right? And I was like the first round pick. I had held out of camp. I showed him to get these brand new cleats. Nike's like, oh, let's try these cleats on. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. We'll try them on. Blisters. First day of camp, right? I'm back. I'm like, man, I can't practice. He's like, oh, Pounce, well, my wife, she complains about her heels. She complains about her heels when
He did you like that?
Yeah. And she said, guess what? She still puts them on.
Oh,
I said,
man.
but Coach, your wife's feet probably don't look like this.
I don't think she's being asked to do the same thing either.
And she ain't got about Paul Soliai. You see what I'm saying? That was my point to him.
Right.
but it was just those personal, like those everyday thing about him
hilarious.
that, you hate to sometimes as a grown man to say like he was like a father figure because you have, you've already made it as a man. Like you had your father along the way. But he was one of those guys that guys could sit here as a grown man and say, I look at him as a father figure just because what he meant so well for you. Not just a football player, just as a person. Every single day, you knew what you were going to get out of him. And that's what I loved about Tony the best,
Let's go today, baby. Talk is cheap. Where we from?
You made your first Pro Bowl as a center following the 2013 season. And you went back the next year, but as a whole different position. You went back as a guard. Talk about what that was like, that whole best five guys concept.
And that always gets back to the we thing, because when I remember I had surgery that year, and we brought in Sam Satelli.
Yep.
And Sam was a good center. He played a long time in the NFL. And when he came in and filled in for me, he was playing well. The whole week I'm coming back, I'm playing center in practice. I'm like, man, I'm like, we're coming back. Sam said, I'm taking his reps now. He done been there. I done been on PUP, been starting the last 4 games.
Right.
So I'm taking all his reps now at practice. I'm like, dang. So in my mind, I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like a leader on the team, and like, not that I don't want to be back out there, but I just seen the whole process of the thing. And I'm seeing us bench guards. I'm like, man, how am I going to figure this? In my mind, I'm like, man, I need to go and say, let me play another position. But then I'm like, well, I'm coming off surgery. Let me just go back where I'm comfortable at.
Sure.
So then, when they came to me, I was like, I'll try it out. Practice ain't as bad. Like, it feels good. I feel comfortable. Like, you're going against a scout team. Shoot, man, that first game back, man, I'm sitting there. After that game, I think we played Green Bay. I'm sitting there in the locker room. I'm like, man, I got to figure it out fast because guard, they're on you a lot faster.
Yeah.
And then I started to get more comfortable. I guess it's just coming out of the surgery had me like feeling like I was a step behind. Not even on the field, because on the film when I watched it after the game, I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But your mind.
If your mind was
and your
there.
mind's a little bit slower because now you're so used to the practice tempo. Now you're getting the game tempo. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm behind because it feels like everyone else is moving faster than you. But I settled in. I got comfortable, and that's why I was really fine with going and playing guard, even though I had made the Pro Bowl the year before, because it was like, man, as a lineman, man, I'm getting the glory because I love these guys and I want what's best for them, and we work as a team.
How much were you able to draw from your Florida days when you had to go back to guard for a little bit? Because I know you moved from guard, and then when your brother went to the league, you went to center afterwards. But were you able to draw anything from Florida?
Yeah, I just went back to where I was comfortable. I was always comfortable at guard stance, like having that foot back, not having to worry about the snap, just firing off as fast as possible. So once I just caught back up mentally, guard was kind of easier for me because now I can just fire out the ball, not have to worry about snapping it into the stands. And it just felt like running blocking was a lot easier at guard. Now pass blocking, when you hear that center say lucky, and you on the right, and you know he going left,
Yeah.
but a whole Aaron Donald ain't in front of you.
No doubt. But, well, whatever you did, it worked because you got voted to the Pro Bowl as a guard.
No, I
so it was
played
one
well.
thing for you to try to do the best for the team. It's another to do it at an
It was
elite
some
level.
big games that we just had that year. Like we ended up playing like the Lions with Ndamukong Suh. I played well against that game. It was some big games where everything just kind of just lined up. So it all kind of just fell into place where team success gives everyone those,
The individual
that-
success, for sure. But then you end up at the Pro Bowl, and not surprisingly, your brother is starting at center, and there you are, the Pouncey
year.
brothers lining up next to each other again.
That was fun. That was an experience, man. See, that we always dreamed about playing that. So we always thought, man, maybe free agency, and then I ended up signing my extension. Playing next to him again, it just at every level, being able to say we got to play next to each other was just something we'll be able to live on with forever, And we're very thankful for the way our careers turned out. But more than anything, we're excited about this next journey in our lives. It's just prove that. A lot of times as an athlete, you get stuck in that world as, man, what am I going to do next? I'm going to go back and, be a coach again, or I'm going to get back in the football world. And don't get me wrong, I coach my son's tackle football team and their flag team, but I just wanted to do something different in life where I could prove that, man, you're just bigger than an athlete sometimes. So we got into this real estate stuff, and now we own this liqueur company that's blowing up big time.
I was just about to touch on all this stuff. The retired life seems it's okay for the Pouncey brothers.
Yeah, man. We're on this mission now to just prove, honestly, just to make more money than we did in the NFL outside.
That's a hell of a goal right there.
Yeah,
that's our
especially
goal,
if you
yeah.
saw those
Yeah.
contracts.
Yeah.
We made a lot of plans, so that we got a big task ahead.
You got it. Hey, man, but you got something. You got something to
drive
grind and
there.
strive
You can't
for, man.
set small goals. Like small goals, anybody can create. You got to set stuff that you feel like is untouchable sometimes, and when you do that, you're gonna always reach for it.
And you mentioned Caden, coaching football a little bit. How's that?
Man,
How's
he's
that
doing
going?
good, man. So we finally got him. He ended up fracturing his elbow at the beginning of the year, but now he's back full time, and it's right in time right now. We got one more game into the playoffs, and so.
Are you OC? What's your
No, I'm just. So I was the OC last year, but so we transferred parks, and so they made me kind of like sit out of here. So I just do like game plan and stuff, and we coach, and I'm like, I say I'm the water boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm Bobby Boucher.
Right.
Bobby
Best
Boucher.
H2O in town. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So I'm kind of like the equipment manager this year. But I'm there every single day. I'm sitting there yelling from the sideline. On game day, I can't be there.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up soon, but I cannot ignore the elephant in the room here. It's the tattoos. Man.
Oh, yeah.
It's the ink.
They're everywhere.
Like, they are everywhere, literally everywhere. So I was going to ask you, I didn't know if you would be wearing a hat.
I took it out just for you.
You just got the top of your head done. Does it stop ever? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's done now. So I ain't gonna touch the face. So what I did is that I drew my hairline so that if I ever wanted to grow my hair back out, they would all be hidden. You know,
That's
I didn't
nice
go too young. I didn't go too.
They're
crazy.
not all going to be hidden.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry because when you said it, I looked. I said, no, I didn't get that bad yet.
If I grow my hair, it ain't fun.
I can't
But
laugh.
no, I'm
dude.
passionate. I love tattoos, man. I love the look of it. I made it to a point in life where I just feel like, man, I have enough money. if I enjoy this look, what's wrong with it? You know, I don't encourage anybody to do it. I don't tell my kids. I'm like, you ain't getting no tattoos.
Is that a tough sell though?
So, man, we talk about a lot has changed, you know, since, you know, we had you guys over the house with the pool table squeezed in there. But one thing we've also changed, we've got a new thing that we do on the show called 2-minute drill. So we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock from DJ Preach, and we're going to fire off a few questions. And the first thing that comes to mind.
I mean, the center should know how to do the 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's got to go direct, you know what I mean?
He got some water, though.
So we got 2, hold on, I want to make sure. How many downs we got? How many timeouts?
There we go.
Yeah,
Every offensive player's got to get the timeout in place, all right? So you got 2 minutes. Yeah, you got 1 timeout.
1 time, okay, cool. Give me buy a little time now. I don't have to spike and lose no down.
Right.
Who's kicking it off?
You want to get started?
I can. All right, so we know that you and Marquise are identical twins, but which Pouncey brother got in more trouble growing up?
I would say probably both of us got in the same amount of trouble growing up. I mean, everything I was his right hand, he was my left, or I was his left, however you want to put it. But man, he was Batman and Robin our whole lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, and the role might have switched.
Oh yeah. Then it always switches.
Right.
You never know. You know what I'm saying?
Robin.
You never know.
I love it.
All right, which Pouncey brother was a better student?
I was a better student. Honestly, my brother would tell you that. It's kind of, I don't know, I guess that's what my son was into it a little bit more, but yeah, he always looked for me for the answers.
Okay. All right. I don't want to get on either of your bad side, but which one of you would I really not want to be on your bad side?
Marquise.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know the little brother, and he's big, but I still call it little man syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah, they always out to prove themselves, and he's a
little brother. Little brother, how little brother is he to you?
He hates when I have 1 minute.
That's all it takes.
He was supposed to be the older, but my mom had a C-section. You know, I was on top. He was like, man, I pushed you out.
That's right, crabs in a barrel, bro.
Oh, man. Too funny. All right, we talked about the tattoos a little bit. Yeah. Would you say they are a collection, an obsession, or an addiction?
I would say an addiction. Yeah, I would say because I would look in the mirror and I say addiction because I would see an empty spot and like, oh, I got to fill that in. I hate the pain. I hate the feeling of it. You know, it has to be an addiction. Just to see the empty spots, and that's why I've filled up every spot.
It sounds like it, but you've kicked it now.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's done with.
Do we need to call a timeout? I want to get these
questions.
Jesus is calling a timeout. I want to make sure we get these questions in.
Yeah.
Don't worry, somebody's watching the clock.
Yeah.
It's a team. It's a unit.
As a quarterback, that's you the quarterback.
That's right. He does call me his quarterback. So what's more exciting, pancaking a 300-pound defensive tackle or watching swaggy KP, your son Caden, score a touchdown?
Man, watching my son. Yeah, I get no more excitement than out of watching my kids enjoy what they love. And you know, it was cool seeing him come back after the game this past weekend, his first big game. And he was right home with his mom. He was like, Mom, it felt good today. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, it just felt good to be back playing football. And I'm like, man, that meant the world to me. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Final question. We already talked about this. If you were to get one more tattoo, where the hell would you put it?
I'd probably if I ever get married, probably be a picture of my wife on my ass. You know, they be a pain in the ass, and that would be my point behind it. A pain in my ass.
That's a 2-minute drill. I mean, that's how you end the grind in a 2-minute drill there. Wow.
That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Come on now, you got to give me a little bit on that.
Everybody on time.
I need an end zone celebration or something on that.
We ain't got to kick the extra point on that one.
Oh, no.
Game over.
Game over. I'm glad you said it, and I did it.
Right.
Man, you know what? It took 4 years to get you back in here, but you certainly did not disappoint. From lifestyle choices to business to being a dad and I guess not a coach, a water boy.
Yeah,
stuff,
equipment manager this year. I'm going to be back coaching next year, though. They can't keep a good coach down.
That's right. Good for you. Good for you.
Hey, thanks for diving back in, Mike.
Nah, thanks, Juice. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.